say a few things given the UN Security Council's vote earlier today. We can't beat COVID without vaccine equity. Our world will not recover fast enough without vaccine equity. This is clear. So sharing the vaccine which is being produced is actually the best way to bring lives and livelihoods back to normal. So it's in the interest of all countries to cooperate. There are, in terms of vaccines especially, what they call elephant in the room. Some of the things that we need to take, some of the measures we need to take. For instance, the sharing problem can be addressed effectively if production is increased. And to increase production, there are trade barriers or other barriers that has to be addressed. I think a good number of them have been listed before. Could be technology transfer, could be voluntary licensing, and temporary waiver of intellectual property. Especially when temporary waiver of intellectual property is raised, we see lack of cooperation and even serious resistance. To be honest, I can't understand this because this pandemic is unprecedented. The virus has taken the whole world hostage. This thing happens probably once in 100 years. And in the TRIPS agreement, there is a provision for a waiver of intellectual property. But there are people who even don't want to discuss this issue. If this provision cannot be applied now, then when? If we cannot apply provisions for a difficult time like now during unprecedented conditions, then when? I think this is serious. I'm glad the UN Security Council has voted in favor of vaccine equity. And at the same time, if we're going to take practical solutions, then waiver of intellectual property should be taken seriously. And the UN Security Council can do it if there is political will. Voting for vaccine equity is important, and we appreciate that, but the concrete steps should be taken and waive intellectual property to increase production, increase coverage of vaccine or immunization, and get rid of this virus as soon as possible. If we're going to suggest in concrete terms, I think this is one. Of course, we should not just focus on this. We should not just focus on this. There are also other practical steps that can be taken, and where the UN Security Council has a big influence and bring vaccine equity as soon as possible to defeat this pandemic. So the choice is in our hands. This is something that can be done. I repeat again, if it cannot be done now in unprecedented times, in times of crisis like this that happens in 100 years maybe, when is it going to be used? When? I hope we will make the right choices, and in addition to the voting, we take concrete action. Thank you so much.